I think you caught me. My bad. I just can't seem to get the blood off of my face and my neck. The person that I chose to munch on, delectable. However, their blood really stains. Ugh, I know, look at that. All of this, it's just a problem, I guess. However, it is Halloween Day, so I think we'll be okay, right? It doesn't matter if I'm a little bloody today because this video is the Halloween book tag. And as you all know, I'll just be pulling out random questions from this tag from my handy dandy cauldron over here. And I think that is very on point for today. I try to be spooky all year round, but sometimes you just have to be a little extra spookier, especially when you're hungry for human flesh and blood. Let's get started. Number 4, ghosts. Which character would you love to visit you as a ghost? I would have to say Karthik from the Gemma Doyle trilogy because that was my all-time favorite character, and that was the first character in a book that I had a crush on, and I was absolutely devastated when Libba Bray killed him off. I actually cried for 5 minutes straight, and I wanted to throw the book across the room, but as a teenager, I wasn't there yet in my bookish journey, so I just set it down nicely and just sobbed for a while. But that was one of my first book crushes, and I really haven't had another book crush other than Reese from Court of Thorns and Roses, so it really got to me. Number 1, carving pumpkins. What book would you carve up and light on fire? I'll have to choose J. Kristoff's books. I don't like the writing. They're too long. There's a lot of fetishization going on, and I don't know why, but footnotes and endnotes in a fantasy novel? Really? We gonna do that? You're not a nonfiction writer, it's fiction, okay? And I hate when people do that, other than Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman for Bad Omens. That was used sparingly, and I can dig it, okay? But when you have footnotes that take up half the page because you think you're so smart with your cute little violin playing, and that was literally a footnote. Okay, no, I can't do it. I can't. So that was a no for me. Number 5, dressing up in costumes. What character would you want to be for a day? Does it have to be bookish? I would totally go for Sarah in Hocus Pocus. I love her look in particular. The other 2 sisters look great. It's fine, but like Sarah's on point. I want to dress like Sarah in Hocus Pocus. Number 6, blood and gore. What book was so creepy that you had to take a break for a while? And I would have to say Dead Inside by Chandler Morrison. However, I didn't take a break. I took, I guess, okay, 1 day in between so I could grasp what I was reading. Yeah. There are all the triggers, and I'm not even playing, all of the triggers that you can possibly think of. It's in Dead Inside. I have a very high tolerance, but even people that read scary stuff on a regular basis, it's not scary, it's disgusting and vile. There's a difference. So I always caution people to read it, and I did not do a book review, even though I said I was going to a few months ago. I'm not doing a book review because I don't want to get kicked off of YouTube. That's how bad that book is. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars though, but I could not give it 5 out of 5. It's just not possible. I can't. I enjoyed it, but like I need to read what happens because this is so disgusting. Where does this go? Because it only is going to end badly. And it did. It did. Number 3, candy corn. What book is always a sweet? And I'm gonna say candy corn is disgusting. It's wax. It's not sweet. It's not. No, I can't do it. Okay. But going into the actual question, I would say the Phryne Fisher book series, there is murder, there's kidnapping, there's just horrible stuff involved. However, it's kind of like a cozy mystery, but it's not, because you get to see Phryne's life and the life of her friends and family, and also being part of the community around her and helping people and just doing the right thing. And I think that is something that we need more of. We need more community help and getting back to thinking that the community around you is just as important as everything else that's going on in your life. And I think Phryne Fisher really upholds that, and she does her absolute best to solve the crimes and get the people that need to be in prison imprisoned, as well as, you know, donating her time, money, and energy to other things, not just solving mysteries. Trick or treat. What characters a trick and which one's a treat? That was a little tongue-tied. Okay, but I'm gonna get it together. I'm gonna say that Tamlin from A Court of Thorns and Roses is a trick, because he tricked us, didn't he, from the first and the second book. And I can't deal with it. I was so pissed reading him in the beginning of the second book. Oh, but I, like, everyone feels that way. No one loves Tamlin when you get to the second book, and there's a lot of people by like halfway through the first book, they can't stand him, and we're like, so what's going on with Feyre? Like, this can't be it. And it's not, thank God. Who is a treat? Can I do two people? Sophie and Hal from Howl's Moving Castle. They're so cute together. And I just smiled throughout that whole book. I read it when I was in college, not as a kid or a teenager, but I loved it anyway, and I feel like I missed out on some fun stuff if I read it younger, but I think it hits differently when you're an adult, because you see the adult humor and themes and all of that stuff, and you can also relate a bit more to Sophie having to deal with Hal. But it works out in the end. That's actually one of my favorite books of all time, Howl's Moving Castle, so I had to mention it. Also, it's a good Halloween read because there's magic, and it's spooky in the way that there's some darkness in there, but it's not scary. I like when books are for, I think this is middle grade? I'm gonna go with middle grade. Howl's Moving Castle is middle grade. I like when books make things spooky for kids, because not all kids want to read about unicorns and happily ever afters. I mean, that was a happily ever after, but you know, you get the vibe. Spooky vibe, something's going on. It's not all okay in the neighborhood, as Mr. Rogers would not say. But if it ends on a positive note, then I think kids are totally okay with spooky and creepy and a little scary even. You kind of see that with Coraline and the Graveyard Book and some other stuff from Neil Gaiman. That's children's and middle grade book series that he's done. Kids will absolutely eat it up, and I think adults and parents really underestimate children, preteens, and teenagers and what they can and can't handle, especially if it's a book. Now, if it's a movie or a TV show or real life, that's a bit different, but for books, I think they can handle quite a bit, and let's not underestimate children, teenagers, and preteens when it comes to spooky, scary skeleton season and the vibe that goes on with some of these books out there. Thank you so much for watching my Halloween book tag. I would run if I were you, because I'm getting hungry again. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.